gonna be.
Okay, welcome back. We're episode 2. I'm Dante, known as Game King.
I'm Precious Mary, also known as Miss Pink.
I'm the one and only Jimmy A.
I'm just Steve.
Yo. What is that? Why is that even funny?
Miss J. Come on.
It's Miss J.
Next. Yeah.
Steve.
Mr. I don't give a fuck is here, Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
So, Precious, what are we gonna go over in today's episode?
Okay, so in today's episode, we are first going to talk about universal base income. Universal base income. What's that all about?
Pipe dreams.
Practically, yeah.
Because even if you implemented,
But wait, how did the guy say in the video if he would be president? He said that
basically everyone's getting a grand a
let's
month
catch-
regardless of
let's
their
catch
income.
this up to speed. They need to know
tell
what we're
them
talking
it
about.
is first.
Okay.
So
Universal.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Yeah, like universal basic income is basically I'm not gonna be wrong with this. It's a socialist idea that everyone, regardless of income level, everyone regardless of income level should get a baseline amount of money given to them by the government. The idea is that it should bring everyone. Some ideas is that everyone should get a flat amount. The reason we bring this up is because Canada's running a trial. Well, it's a closed trial with a few candidates, but basically the point is the people who are in it, they don't make enough. They don't make a livable wage. They are below the poverty line, and they work part-time or full-time, but they have a low-wage job, or they don't work at all. The point is these people are given just enough money from the government to bring them up to that line. But the point distinction is that the people who are working, they only get just enough money to bring them up to that line. So if you're like $1,000 below poverty line, the government will give you $1,000, something like that. That's how it's working.
So this idea is being proposed by a little backstory. This idea is being proposed by Andrew Yang. He's an American entrepreneur, and he's a 2020 Democratic presidential candidate. So he wants to pass this if he does become elected as president.
Jill Stein.
So he wants it for everyone or just people below the poverty?
Everyone.
Everyone. He said
Specifically,
everyone.
in this video, he said he plans to do it for people from 18 to 64.
No, the working age.
So that's basically everybody.
So
That's everybody. That's everybody in the world. That's everybody working.
That's the majority.
And he said he would.
And plus
I
it's
remember
the
he
working age
would
black
make a
people.
new tax bill to tax.
Well, his plan is to do it to make it
A new tax bill to tax
That's
all
his plan.
the higher companies like Amazon and stuff like that, but I don't
Yes.
see it.
Well, no, he said automation related companies. Something along that line.
Yeah,
No,
but he brought up like a huge company like Amazon.
Yeah, because they're a company that
because
does
there's
a lot of automated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of.
But
The weird thing
he brought
about
up Amazon because they're known, but he's basically focused on the fact he's talking about any other automation related company.
Like what else besides Amazon?
I don't know
Like,
what else is out
all right,
there.
Basically,
Microsoft-
we're trying to
I'm guessing-
automate-
Microsoft,
basically, we're trying to
Oh,
Microsoft,
gonna
Apple, Tesla. There's a lot of big companies that are trying to automation game. But the weird thing about that is because they're trying to automate everything right now, there's a lot of people that are bought into the workforce. Sorry for cutting you off. There was a lot of people bought into the workforce for. Oh, it's fine. It's recording.
I'm just asking if it's okay, that's all.
There's a lot of people brought into the workforce that assist in setting up the automation, but there's like Amazon, their delivery system, that's still people.
Yeah, that's not automated.
Yeah. Their stores are 50-50. Like
Well, warehouses.
their warehouses,
The point is that automation
well, yeah.
will eventually come into play
Oh yeah.
big time. And other people will lose their jobs because of that, because they won't need as many people to work as they do now.
But
It'll be less and less as time goes on. So he wants to implement this in order to what's the word I'm looking for?
Counterbalance.
Kind of counterbalance that whole process, which is it's an idea,
It's an idea, yeah.
It's an idea, but I don't
Now,
think it's one of them.
Initially, when I read the article about it, it wasn't talking about a new tax bill. In that article, they considered eliminating all the other government programs and just making it universal-based healthcare instead. Like there'll be no more not financial. There'll be no more what's that thing?
Medicaid.
Food stamp.
Food stamps. There'll be no more food stamps, for instance, and any other little
But then-
government substance that's in play right now will be wiped out, and everybody will just have universal-based.
But then, if that's the case, then
That's worse.
every single person that's on food stamps now, their income would have to be recalculated,
Yeah,
and then
that's
personally tied for this UBI program.
because that goes back.
UBI will still be for everyone.
May I?
But what assists are
Yeah,
I'm sorry, hold on. May I ask somebody who is using food stamps? Yeah, that allotted budget for food is a big deal. If they were to take that away and then tell me, okay, you have, $1,000 or $2,000 to do whatever you got to do. We're talking medical bills, especially for me because I'm also disabled. We're talking at least $200 worth of food. And then I gotta think about transportation, and then I gotta think about rent, and then I have to think about utilities. Having food as a separate budget means I don't have to take that out of my other main living expenses. So
Yeah.
for them to take that away means now I have to add that $200 that I would be getting in food stamps to last me the entire month. Now I gotta take that out of the lump
plus-
sum.
Plus,
I'm not
I
with
think
that.
I don't know
I'm
if
not
it was
with that.
Paul Ryan or Mitt Romney. They wanted to do that with healthcare.
they wanted
They wanted to give
Oh,
everyone a certain amount, and I was like, to
because
make
Romney did it in his state.
to make the so America have more money. I was like, it would work. We would get out of debt, but people would die because, like Jessica just said, my medical expenses and her medical expenses
Two different
is
things.
two totally different things. So
Yep.
I could live with medical expenses $1,000 a month. She probably can't.
Nope.
And probably won't survive. So yes, his plan would work. US would save more money, give
But
it
it's
back.
My
But
medication
you
alone
would
is
in-
$2,000.
yeah,
so no.
people would indirectly die.
Yeah.
So
that's the thing.
it would work. It would save America a lot of money, but people would die.
If you're gonna,
Which I don't agree with.
Yeah, but
So-
and as I said, if you're gonna do that, you would have to take into consideration everyone's medical, just like if you're on Medicaid, you have to take deference to the amount of financing that goes into that for that person. Then yeah, you can then gut that and put it into their monthly stipend. Then you would have to do that for food stamps. Gut that into the stipend. And then no matter what happens, you're still going to end up with a total amount of money to this universal payment plan that's equivalent to what we're doing now, but is a bit more but is a bigger variable because now you're giving people this bulk amount of money once a month and saying have at it. And what you're gonna need a tracking system that costs money. You're gonna need something to regulate how much of that goes where because they will.
And I'm assuming you said it was to everyone 18 to 64.
Well, I forgot his name. That guy specifically in the video said from 18 to 64.
Yeah, so the working class.
Yeah.
So
Everyone
so wait. So
working
just,
age, not class.
So working age. So obviously just U.S. citizens, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so then
That would be
I,
the only possible way, in my opinion.
And then what are you gonna do for the elderly?
they wouldn't get it. But it's like it wouldn't work because like first off, it wouldn't work for one. Not everyone's salary is public.
Exactly.
But if you did that and you said everyone's gonna get 1,000. So
you have to know what everybody makes.
So-
We'll
wait,
go with a
but-
random number as 1,000.
But okay, so let's just say he gives everyone 1,000 extra, meaning if you're working or not working. Let's just say he gives
That's
it.
what he said.
So,
That's what I said.
which is a horrible idea.
Yeah.
But let's just say so working or not working, you get an extra 1,000.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy, I don't know how much you make. I don't know how much your salary is, right? I don't know any, but I know you get a guaranteed G. So let's just say I'm renting out a place that's usually, let's say I would charge rent $800, right? I could put the rent an extra 1,000 because I know for a fact
That you'll have the
you
money to pay for
have that extra grant.
Regardless if you can do
So
anything else.
regardless of what you make, I know for a fact that you get a guaranteed grant.
And people are gonna bump up
And
prices
people are
because
gonna,
they know.
because they know for a fact that you get 1,000 cash. every
And they
month.
don't care what you
Here's
need
what
to
I'm
do
gonna
with
say
that.
about that. When you go to rent a place, right? Normally they ask about your income.
Yeah.
So they know what you're gonna get
But you
anyway.
also
Yeah, but then
gotta
I could
understand-
raise it by 1,000 because I know I'll just be taking that 1,000 you're
If
getting.
that's the case, then you could add a law to
And this
They
is
didn't
what.
get, they
And
didn't
this
get,
is
wait,
what.
I didn't get to any of
but
them.
here's the thing
Yeah,
about
one at
Here's
a
the,
time.
that's the
one
thing
at a
about
time.
it. This is all an idea. So now we're just really talking about if we wanted to do this, how would it be possible? Or should we just not do this at all?
Jimmy, but
It's all an idea at the end of the day.
Wait,
But this is what I was talking about last night.
Mhm.
If you make a law to try to regulate like a private, like most of these
Yeah, there's no
buildings
way you
here
could re-
are
there's no
owned
way
by
you could-
private
Yeah,
companies.
there's no way you can
Either
regulate that.
or the city would pay those private companies to take a portion of the buildings that they put in there, just a segment out of each one of those buildings for,
Housing lotteries.
housing lotteries.
Yeah.
There's no way to
So-
regulate that.
Yeah,
Aren't there housing laws?
there are.
To a
But
certain
those
extent,
are
but
for-
if I have my own, if
but
I
those are
if
for
I own
city-
this,
like
if
yeah,
I own all of this, I can talk about the fuck
I
I
can
want.
dictate.
It's mine.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
But like, say you have like a slot in the housing lottery. Okay, fine. That these specific areas are regulated by
Yeah,
the
anything
city.
that's not
By
government
proxy.
owned, like if it's private, they can charge whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, but like in the case of like the housing lottery, it's the city
Yeah, that's,
owned.
that's government
still,
owned, so
yeah,
they would.
they still pay a private organization, and for that area alone, for that splice of the building that private entity owns, they have to follow city guidelines.
Yeah, they have to
The
follow
rest
city
of it,
guidelines. But
like-
we're saying like if it's like a private,
like,
like if
my-
I own this own
yeah.
building, I could
So
charge
like
whatever I want.
my house could be like 800 if it was from a housing lottery, but like yours,
Since I don't have it, I have anything
like
to go
$3
with
grand.
it, I could just say 1 room studio, 2,500, and I
$2,400.
know you at least got a grand.
and
a
you
month.
want
I
to know,
that.
and you want to know why they would do that? Because it counterbalances all of the fees that the city takes for the people that for the low income families that go through the housing lottery. That's literally why most of these buildings are like $3,000 for a fucking 2-inch studio.
So like inflation would be a big thing.
Yeah, so if
People-
you if
I think
Inflation is gonna be a big thing no matter what.
People would, but it would go up faster because now you're just giving out money for no.
yeah, and you
You're
literally
giving out money for
you
for
basically
nothing.
make your new broke is now $1,000
Yeah,
if that was the
that's
case.
true. Your new broke is not even
'Cause
0
now-
to 1,000.
because now like
So you just turned $1,000 into $0.
yeah.
Because I know for a fact once a month everyone's going to get a grant
Now-
just for breathing.
Not only that, but then think about the companies. Think about the companies out there, not just housing, just any retail. It was like, oh, wait a second, they can afford my most expensive thing, but I do not have the ability to make that en masse. Okay, fine. Let me jack the price up by 200% just to control the quantity that we can still give out.
Yeah, like I think
So,
everything would go
you're-
up because
So like
guys
if you
would
wanted
have
a
the-
Galaxy S9 Plus and that's like $950 now, okay, fine. It's $1,900 because you could basically double the entire thing.
Because
And
I
then-
know you get that free grand a month for no reason.
Exactly.
But you do know that it would be also stupid on anyone's part to add 1,000 because everybody's gonna
No.
use it.
No, supply and
No,
demand. If
supply and
everybody
demand.
can afford it and then they
Supply
buy
and
them
demand.
out,
You
and they can't sell
So
it
you're a
anymore.
landlord, right? You
Mhm.
sell cell phones, you sell something else, whatever. You're all gonna add 1,000 to everything you
Because-
sell.
Okay, so
That's
so
the
I see what you're getting at. So
Yeah.
let's say I add 1,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say he's the smarter entrepreneur. He only raises it to 500. Stuff is still getting raised only because we're all getting an extra grant for free, and we all know that.
And
That whatever is the bottom line, we know that you're getting an extra grant for
also
free.
double for the fact, remember, if everything stayed the same price while everyone had a flat rate, again, you'd run out of stock quicker and then the demand would go up, which would fuck up. It would fuck up not only your stock because you couldn't meet the demand, meaning you couldn't handle the new standard, but it would also fuck up like, all right, you'd have to probably then pay more to get like another factory or at least offset it to a third party so they can distribute it at a rate that would basically match the volume of the people that are requesting it. So in this case, if Samsung wanted to make more S9 pluses so they could meet the new demand, they would probably have to bump it up about $300 to $400 just because they had to probably use like a third party factor, another factory. Like, all right, let's say they didn't use Foxconn, they would have to use the Foxconn facilities so they can damn near double up their order and ship them out in bulk. And then because they have to use more materials, that in turn turns into increased costs.
Okay, so let's clarify this. So you're saying, okay, they're not going to immediately tack another 1,000 on it, but obviously everybody's going to raise their prices accordingly to make sure that they can keep up with the demand, so that they don't get bought out immediately, and so that they can still make a little bit of extra profit.
And so
now
that they can
everybody's-
exist as an
Everybody
entity.
has, and
it's-
plus it destroys the bell curve.
Yeah.
Because then, like, you have even though the 1,000 won't really, like, they won't catch up to the rich people, but, like, the people that's, like, in poverty and the people, like,
The middle class and the broke
it's
class,
almost
there's a
gonna
big
be
gap.
like, it's almost gonna be like, no, and I feel like there has to be some type
There
of
is.
bell curve.
There
There
is.
will always be
Like,
some kind of half
and then when you take away the bell curve, I feel like
It's not even
Yeah.
even taking away a bell curve. It's just that what you're doing is you're slowly what you're trying to do is remove like a few rungs from each tier of the wealth gap in
Yeah.
America. But by doing that, businesses will basically counter that by trying to meet the new market share by forecasting.
Yeah.
By trying to say, okay, how in this quarter will we be able to survive the new level of demand because of the new net revenue that every single one of
and
our
plus
customers
his
has
idea
got.
was what he was gonna start taxing more automated businesses.
Well, for his idea.
Okay, they're just gonna raise the prices on their products.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
okay,
Oh,
fine.
and I know you got the money to pay for these products because I know you
For
get a
what
grant.
wants to afford
Yeah,
it.
Because I know you get a grant.
Because
yeah, because all right, fine.
There
You
are
want to
those
use our
that don't
services,
find
but
out
we're
what's
getting
else
taxed
out
for that. All right, Mr. Thousandaire.
Oh, that's how it works right now, isn't it?
That's how it always works.
Exactly.
Like
but that extra
People are gonna
1,000.
prioritize
So
what they
it's
wanna
just
do with their
so
money.
it's really just that he's really just trying to give everyone an extra 1,000, not messing with with like some benefits that people would already have.
well,
It would be an extra 1,000 on top of that
based on
too.
what he said so far.
That's
Yeah,
that's
see,
But
that's
you're messing with somebody's benefits. He's
But-
saying I'll give you the 1,000, but we
Well,
take away the
so-
other stuff.
Yeah.
So you are messing with.
Yeah.
wait. Is he giving the 1,000 to take away the other stuff, or he's just adding the
For
1,000?
him, it's just giving 1,000.
That's
That's stupid.
outrageous.
That's
Yeah,
stupid.
Other
because then-
articles that I
business-
read, I don't know if they took out everything, but it took out the plan was to take out certain things.
Because then you have another situation.
What are the
then
certain
you have
things?
then you have another thing that I don't think people are gonna work. Because like I had this funny story. Like
People aren't working now as it is.
no, but here's another.
Oh, excuse me, nigga.
Here's
Here's
another funny story. Like
Don't call me that.
so some guy came into the deli that I always go to in the morning, and he was asking me for $1.
Mhm.
And the worker that was here, he's like, yo, why not just get a job? Like there's work everywhere. Like why not just work?
Yeah.
And then he brought up some religious saying like, oh, I'm blah blah blah, this and that. But my thing is, so if this thing goes through, you're gonna give that lazy motherfucker a grant for not doing
Exactly.
shit?
Yeah,
On top of the benefits that I already know he has.
it's a domino effect.
So
in the
why would I even
work?
bother to work if he's still getting
Because now I gotta
the
see this.
Section 8 and the food stamps, and then on top of that, and 1,000?
And now I
All
gotta
right.
see
People are
this.
just not
You
going
gonna
to work.
account for human nature? You think that even if they didn't have these plans, the people aren't gonna be lazy?
Of course.
Come on.
People
But it's
are
being
people
encouraged
are
more
lazy.
lazy.
Second,
People are
no,
lazy
but
as
second,
hell.
stop.
Steven,
Alright,
stop.
second of all, let's assume that we didn't have all this social stuff going on. Like we didn't care for the people who, for whatever reason, shut the fuck up. For some reason or another, maybe they all right. First of all, I'm just gonna throw it out there. This is I don't know. One of you guys can Google it, but the amount of people who actually manipulate and abuse the welfare system.
Yeah, no, it's
that we
not
have.
the majority.
Yeah,
I know,
they
the
are.
people
They
that's
are
actually on it,
minuscule.
the majority
They
are
are minuscule.
Yeah.
So Mr. Ragamuffin in your deli, he's like 0.1%. But let's just discard that for a minute. Let's just say this is a problem, right? These people I mean, this is human nature. Regardless of whether we take care of these people or not, these people are still gonna sit on their ass. They're still not gonna work. They're still gonna do something. They're still just not gonna be there. If these systems are not in place for them, and I'm not even accounting for lazy. Let's not even just say the lazy people. Let's say the mentally ill, because they're all, like, as you know, or may know, we don't have very good mental health care.
Yeah, we don't.
And
New
the amount
York
of
City is
people,
like the highest.
who are homeless, they're homeless. A large majority of them are homeless because they're just mentally ill and they just simply cannot function in society. And we have nothing in place to correct that.
Yeah.
And that's not their fault. But how much money are we? I mean, they're just out there, and they're still surviving barely. How much money do we spend on that? Because I can guarantee you, there are a bunch of homeless people in New York, and they're not going hungry.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Right? I'm just saying, there's more than enough money going around, and it's gonna go somewhere. And these people are always going to be there.
And that aside,
Only thing that would change in your situation is that we'd have a lot more homeless people around.
Yep.
And how would we change that? We'd probably end up doing something like I don't know, I'm just guessing. We might be doing something like building housing for them. Like these people are always going to be there. We have to account for them. And this is the system we have. It isn't perfect, but it's something. There are definitely improvements that can be made, but just abolishing it altogether?
I didn't say take it out altogether.
I'm just saying,
your point of
view,
giving everyone without, like,
yeah, but
there's still the inflation
but
thing.
it's not for them. Okay?
Yeah.
It's not for the lazy bastards. It's for the people
it's
who can't
for,
make ends meet.
No, it's
But
for everybody.
Okay,
That's
so this is like a straw man thing. I get that no one wants to help a lazy person, but this is like a misnomer. This is like a straw man thing. You're pointing out this one outlier over there to draw away from the main reason that we're doing this.
Yeah.
It's not for them. It's not for these lazy people. It's for the people who literally cannot do it or literally cannot afford it.
Yeah.
Lord knows none of us make a living wage in New York.
Fuck out of here.
How many of us have
table? Not at this table. Well, two people at
Bitch,
this
you
table.
live in Jersey.
So, two people at this table.
Hey,
Two people at this table.
Don't make me go forever from you.
Two people.
Oh God,
They will remain nameless, but two people at this table do. So,
Technically speaking, I still have a place here that I have to fucking maintain. So I'm in New York.
Yeah, you just said he has 2 homes on radio. So it said two people at this table have a New York City like living wage. But
All right, listen.
Real quick.
Okay,
So
right.
you two have talked about how much you dislike it and everything like that. What about those that you think could help?
Which one? It's too late now. My battery's dying. We're sticking to the stop.
Alright, we'll pause here for now.
Nah.
I mean, there is going to be good to come, but is the good going to outweigh the inflation and all the stuff that Lamar brought up earlier?
Like,
is that going to?
The bad part, like, see,
The inflation's gonna happen no matter
Yeah,
what.
but it's going to happen at a quicker pace.
yeah, that's
No,
but
but
you
so
say-
you rather
Okay. Listen. So it happens at a quicker pace, correct?
yeah.
Well, the broke line, I just said, it's gonna be at a different place.
It's going to be 1,000. It's not going to be.
If it's 1,000, if it goes with 1,000, you never know.
nothing
What I'm
changes.
saying is that it's gonna.
Well, Lamar, it makes it nothing changes.
It really does. Like, you're not. All you're
You're not-
doing
yeah,
is
you're
getting.
really
But
not-
things do
yeah.
change. Some things do change for some people.
But the thing about it
Some people's
is,
lives will be affected by this. Both negative and positive,
Jimmy,
but most
Jimmy.
I think positive.
But like, here's my question: what? All right, fine. You're giving everyone a stack. Congratulations. My question is, what system are you putting in place before that stack even becomes a thing to mitigate everything else that you would have to
Well,
do?
Lamar, let's talk about that for instance, because like I said, it's just an idea. It's not implemented, and this is also that we're just discussing it all together. So let's talk about that. What idea do you think would be good to put in place for that?
You would need to put in you would have to redo the entire, what is that, Dodd-Frank, the entire thing where businesses cannot take advantage of people in general.
Yeah, you would have to make so
Aren't
many.
they already
like,
doing that?
You
No.
have to make so many like
The
bylaws
first thing
and
you'd have to
stuff,
do is literally rewrite, you'd have to have pure control over the inflation rates
So
in
no
this.
capitalism, basically.
Yeah, you'd be going into pure socialism. At best, almost getting close to communism at worst. Just because of the fact that every business that would have to operate here would have to follow pure government law. So
And you don't want the government controlling
And right
the money.
now-
That's why the IRS is there.
and like
So, yeah.
and like any business any big business that stashes their money and the government knows it outside of the country would be hit, because now instead of paying their fair share of taxes, they're basically gouging out customers and then keeping the money that offshores that they're paying for free. That actually they're paying nothing for. They're paying $3.99 for. And so you have billions of dollars that's not going back into the country's revenue, while these companies have like massive areas that where they paid for the land. Okay, fine, but then every single asset that the business has that is an American-made business has their stuff bounced between the Netherlands and the freaking Bahamas, just because they want to try to avoid taxes. And then they have the nerve to fucking gouge prices. If that 1,000 hits before any regulatory laws do, trust me, the crazy, like I'll tell you right now what Steve said. The crazies, I see a ton of them when I walk back and forth from Port Authority. Like you can literally spot the depression. All you're doing is giving that person $1,000 and no means to help themselves.
Yeah, because you're gonna give them $1,000 a month, but who's gonna be like their caretaker and all that stuff? They're just gonna have $1,000.
Like,
Which one just go back?
And how would they get
How would
the
you
money?
get $1,000?
How would they get the money too? Wait, yeah, that's the how exactly.
Because
Yeah,
we're so focused.
Yeah, wait. Here's a
We're so
prototype.
focused on these homeless people that can't help themselves. How would they get that money?
Yeah, that's another
That's
thing.
another thing.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Then you're putting the goddamn poverty issue and the mental issue into an even bigger ditch.
Well, I do see.
This thing doesn't.
But time out, I do see one slight solution for that one, and that's if every state put into effect that whole, the ID NYC thing they got going. That's if they decided to do it. That's the only way I could see them accounting for, whoever's in their state or
Well,
city.
the ID,
then-
the ID NYC thing
How
is
would
for
you-
anybody in New York.
But how would you round up every single homeless person in New York?
All right, we're talking in absolutes here. We're not trying to
Yeah.
solve. We're not trying to.
Yeah,
We're not trying to feed. We're not trying to end world hunger. We're not trying to.
But the thing
We're just
about
trying to
it
make it a
is,
better place.
but the thing about it is, shit happens when you just give people random. When you hand money.
Okay.
from the government.
There will be regulations to this. It's not going to be like the government just
It's not
says.
gonna be something random where you just 1,000 boom. It's dope.
Second of all, you're going to need a bank account.
Yeah.
Most people
There
don't
will be
have
some
bank
kind
accounts.
of check and
Now,
balance.
this doesn't account for debt. And again, people have different salaries. I mean, just say people have different salaries, so people aren't just going to charge $1,000 off the bat.
Okay.
Because people are all right. Even if you give these people $1,000, right? This is like as I laid it out, it would just help people get up to like that bare minimum. That bare minimum is not enough for anything.
Yeah,
It's
but
enough
it's
for
not.
it's enough for survival. It's like saying saying we should what?
But then my question is, there's a lot of things with that. Just both give 1,000. What are the trade-offs? What are you losing by giving a flat stack to? Like that's the question.
Well, one of the biggest problems, the immediate problems I could think of, is that
Because they
It
don't
doesn't-
gut medical.
how does this adjust for inflation? Like $1,000 will go a lot longer in one state than it would in another.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. $1,000 in New York is like $250.
Yeah.
But like go to West
$10.
Virginia and you can almost stretch that to almost 10 G's.
Like
Yeah,
it'd
go to
be
Wyoming.
Yeah.
it'd be a number. It'd be a
What you talking
nightmare.
about? Go to Mississippi.
If we
$1,000
implemented
is
something
like-
like this,
it's like
Oh
we
my God, you could buy a house for like $24,000.
if we
Yeah.
implemented something like this, we'd end up.
You have to scale it by every state's poverty
Yeah,
line.
it'd have to be on a state by state. It had to be something implemented by the states. It can't be. It'd be a nightmare to do this on a federal
And
level.
then
That's
you
what's happening with our healthcare.
But then, Steve, here's the thing. Then you still have to worry about businesses that would gouge on a state by state level.
You can't escape that. You can't escape the business.
The inflation, like the main reason inflation will hit is because you're literally giving everyone a
I
flat.
think it was China. Someone tried this like
China.
years ago, and the reason why it didn't work, it's one of these things that it sounds
Sounds
wonderful
good on
on paper,
It sounds hopeful on
but
paper,
when you actually
it's
play it out,
hilarious.
it doesn't work well, and one of the main reasons is because of greed.
Yes.
People are naturally greedy.
And businesses, fuck with a business market share. I assure you, that stat will cost you billions per day. Cause like one of the other things that would happen. All right, think about it like this: people are worried about jobs, like the automation crisis. Don't worry, they'll just leave, and they don't need to go that far. Canada's right there. There's not that many people. They can literally hire the majority of them, or not hire anyone at all.
Yeah,
Automate the entire
leave,
thing
leave,
and just
leave where?
leave the country. Just
So they're not gonna.
just pay the fine. Just pay the fine for actually leaving your home base. Pay the tariffs and the taxes and the new one.
So they're gonna
Automate everything. Kick rocks, and now you then make everyone else poorer. Then you drop the value of the dollar.
Are you saying that, for example, let's say Amazon with the automated stuff or whatever, they'll take.
Fuck with Jeff Bezos' money and see if that motherfucker doesn't buy the Cayman Islands again.
Yeah. So you're saying it's gonna take everything out of New York, out of America, and just go to another country.
Simple.
So he's not gonna have
It's
stores
a
in America.
possibility.
You could do
I'm
that.
not saying he can't. I'm just saying you're saying he's gonna do that
It is a last
and not
resort.
service
Depending on
America in a physical form anymore.
Well, he doesn't.
depending on how much they plan.
So all the Amazon stores are. I understand factories.
No.
But you're saying the Amazon stores will leave
Like
America
outsourcing.
Like
Outsourcing.
exactly. Like,
Amazon's what 99% online. It's all sorts of warehouses.
like here's a quick note.
Yes.
Yeah, put all your warehouses in China. But you can.
I'm not talking about warehouses. I'm talking about actual stores where people go in for their.
But the thing about that is, if you're
They're really
They're starting them now.
yeah.
But
Okay, I have what?
Here's
How much
the
money do I
thing.
have?
if you move your headquarters, all of your headquarters out of the country, if you stop operating as a business here and just stay as a digital entity, you can move a lot of shit quick and not have to worry about that country's cost. You can literally knock out billions of dollars just by not operating in that country anymore.
But that would bump up the price for anybody trying to buy from them because they're not here.
Yeah,
Because now they
why
have to do a
companies
work.
outsource to begin with.
Now they have to go to Amazon.ca or EU just so they can buy the shit that they want.
And it's
But-
gonna cost way more than it does.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's the reason why Apple.
If
That's the
Apple
reason why
leaves-
Apple products are not assembled on American soil because
It would
they
be
could
too
just make
expensive.
it-
An
yeah, they could
iPhone
just
would
make it-
cost
yeah.
$2,500 almost. But like, what the fuck?
How do you have side convos going
This might
on?
be partially relevant, so we're just discussing.
Well, what
it.
happens
So
is that
that's-
we
that's
just want to
what
cut you
nigga.
off.
I said
Yeah.
potentially relevant.
Well, bring it to the light.
They
Alright.
potentially
Bring it
reveal it.
to
All
my
right,
Steve.
one person at a time.
Steve,
All right,
Let's
so
see.
we want to
Jimmy,
cut you off.
So whisper this away.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So Jimmy just showed me an article from the New York Times where Finland
It's gonna end
but before they implemented a year-long trial run for I think about 2,000 people aged between 25 and 28, gave them a monthly stipend, no questions asked.
Mm-hmm.
But it should be noted that they already have a very generous social system. Like university and higher education is mostly paid for. They have really good social benefits, et cetera, et cetera. So basically, the article is saying that they just completed the trial run, and the results aren't out yet. But they were saying that there were a lot of people since the time it started that had a problem with it because they were saying, basically you're giving money to people who don't work. The government, however, was saying that they're giving this money to the people that they did because people in that age range, age 25 to 28, a lot of them a lot of people
Find a job.
they don't start businesses, or they can't afford to go, they can't go on regular welfare because it's kind of a similar situation here where if they do, they lose the benefits that they get.
Yeah, but the only thing is like it works in small groups, but for everybody it's not.
But like I said, that's why I said that's on a state-by-state basis.
It works in small groups.
The reason I said this is potentially relevant because it was like a clickbaity head title. Like it made it seem like Finland did this program, it didn't go well. That's not what it said.
Yeah.
The article, when you actually read it, says they implemented this program. Results are going to be out next year.
Yeah, but in
a lot of people don't like that.
In small groups, it works. Like
again, we don't know that it does.
If I was rich, say I have Bill Gates' money, and I gave all of y'all right here at this table $1,000, only y'all gave y'all only $1,000 a month extra for no reasons, no questions asked. Of course it's going to work because it's only this small group.
Yeah.
I'm not giving it
You're
to everyone.
taking a case study. You're
so
not
in
taking
small
the entire
groups, of course it's going to. What would you do with an extra $1,000 with no questions asked? And only this group gets it. No, not everyone.
You didn't let me finish though.
Buy stock.
You didn't let me finish. First of all, the people that were chosen for a specific purpose. These are people who are unemployed and can't sign up for regular benefits for their job, or they can't open businesses because that would be undue hardship on them.
Mm-hmm.
These are the reasons they were chosen.
Too extra IKEA bucks.
Second of all, even while they were doing the experiment, they're still, again, this is an experiment. They're still playing around with the idea of adding conditions to this. These people were given the money basically on statistics and study. Like people within this age range, this is what they'll do with the money. But
okay, I see what you're saying.
But now they're playing around with the conditions like what we have here, where if you receive assistance, you have to be looking for work. So they're still playing around with it. But all I don't feel the article was completely relevant because all it said was we did a trial run, people didn't like it, even though we don't have results. That's it.
Yeah, because I was gonna say you could compare that group of people to the people minusing these two to the people that here. Of course, it would work.
And it would help.
It would help, but it's just for this. It's not for everyone. So in small groups, yes, it would work, but not when it's on a global
It was a case
force.
study. Like,
It's not gonna play out.
Not only that, but combined with not only just what was that? You said Finland?
Yeah, and it's not just them.
Canada's
They mentioned Canada's doing it.
Yeah.
Canada's doing
Most
it right
of the
now.
Netherlands
San Francisco, they mentioned an article. San
Most of the
Francisco's doing one.
Yeah,
and,
because to
Finland's
mitigate
doing
their tent population.
And San Francisco is a big city.
Well, yeah, but the
No,
Netherlands is
now
still
that I
bigger.
think about it, I'm pretty sure that it's done now. It's just not.
Again, this is trial runs. Like,
Not only that, but it's
but
also
I'm pretty sure it's like it's done.
I like Finland's idea though, because they didn't just give it out to a subset of people who were poor, no questions asked. They were giving it to a group of people who, based on their studies, were more likely to either open a business or would have signed up for benefits, but are unable to because of their income. But they're in a wealth like what we have with a Medicaid gap, where they make too much to earn
but not
benefits,
enough to pay for
but not enough
Not
to take for themselves.
So
They took all that into account.
Yeah, which
So
relates
can I
to
ask you
the
something?
tables.
What Finland really did.
All right,
wasn't
winding
really
down
UBI.
battery.
What Finland really did wasn't UBI. It was more of
But the thing
it was
about
almost like a different form of government assistance.
Maybe-
That isn't
Wait a
UBI.
minute.
wait.
Go ahead, Jess.
Oh, I was gonna say, wouldn't UBI be a form of government assistance? Like
It is, but what I'm-
wait a minute. I'm pretty sure that when the whole idea of welfare came up back in the day, they were sitting at the table having these same kind of arguments. And I feel like if it were to be implemented, there are going to be those that it helps. There are going to be those that aren't going to benefit from it, and then there will also be those who may need it but can't get it.
Reason why I'm saying that is what I'm saying is that universal basic income is going to cover the broad spectrum. all the other government assistance programs that they have just cover the specific thing. You have to have a certain amount of income. You have to be this. You have to be that. Like the one in Finland, you have to be between the age of 25 or 28, and you have to be business minded. That's just covering a specific
Still
group
basically
of
the new
people.
welfare.
But it's not. It's like another welfare, but it's not universal
But the
basic
thing
income.
about it is,
When I'm thinking of universal basic income, I'm thinking of from the article that I initially read, where it says everybody gets it, whether you're rich or you're poor, whatever the case might be. That's what I'm thinking more about.
And I'm saying, in that case, some people it will benefit, some people it won't really make much of a difference,
Oh, yeah,
especially if they
right.
have money already.
But at the end of the day,
some
it's
people
more.
might not
It's
be able
more.
to access it.
Even using the word universal is too broad, but it's more universal in that sense, not just another smaller specific group of people.
but the main reason there's a lot of government programs for specific groups of people is because to mitigate the people that would abuse a system like UBI. The main reason it targets specific groups and ranges or specific cases within that range is because those people know what they need, and they're not only. It's not a case study. It's not an experiment. They can allocate those funds specifically per targeted group. That's why Medicaid works. That's to some extent. Same with food stamps and same with like
I had both. So.
yeah. So like if you sit or like the ADA stuff, where it's like they'll give you a stipend because you have something that would disable you from actually being able to function normally.
What about people that are they're above that line to get the government check?
Usually, when you're above the line to get a government check,
they're above that line, but they're not living well enough to really survive on their own. What about those people?
Almost everyone in New York City.
Yeah, but the thing about that is there are tiers to that, and that's the thing that a lot of people don't fully realize. There are tiers to it, and the more money you have, the less the government gives to you.
It would go back to what Lamar said earlier. Nothing would change.
I have a fun idea.
So what's your thought?
Since you two are so against it,
I'm not against it.
and it seems like Stephen and I are a little bit leaning more towards for it, I think we should have a debate where you two bring up ideas of why it should go on, and we bring up ideas of why it shouldn't.
I just find this so interesting because I'm the one that gets the most government assistance out of everybody at this table.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true.
And I can tell you how it's helped me, or else I'd be severely screwed right now. Yes, I get SSI, I get Medicaid, and I get food stamps.
Yeah, we're not knocking.
Sure as hell
We're
not.
not knocking that. We're knocking that.
I'm not against it. I'm like,
Yeah.
see, here's the thing.
I'm not against
hate-
federal help.
I
I'm
hate-
against the whole universal thing.
The one thing I hate is a
Oh, we can do it.
stupid fucking plan. And that sounds stupid
Stupid
until
what?
a stupid
stupid
fucking
plan.
plan.
Okay.
Because that, in theory, is feasible. But if you do not have a proper, if it's not structured properly, it's going to fail. And the thing about UBI is right now, that's a glaring
because the
flaw.
only
I
way
have a question for
why
you.
the HERS things works is because one, you have to have like
There are
You-
conditions.
You have to
Yeah,
follow
you
conditions
have
to
a rate,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, with
In
this,
this
just
case,
give everyone 1,000.
She falls
It's
within the
not gonna
recommended
change anything.
conditions for her to receive these stipends from
If
the
anything,
government.
you're just
I
gonna
get
give
that,
the
I get
people
that.
up higher taking advantage of it because they know now you have an extra grant. That's
Look
why.
at what happens with
That's
the
what
housing
you don't
lottery.
Yeah.
Look at what happens with the housing lottery now. People flood their incomes and then they fuck it up for everyone
they should
else that
have
would be.
checks. They should have a way to really check things like
Fuck
that.
that. Look at the projects.
Okay. So
They should be able to check that.
we
out.
need to wrap this up, but before we
This is a
do,
good topic.
I think that universal basic income is just an ideal to strive for. But what it should be, or what people want it to be in practicality, is a form of social assistance that helps the majority of people. Like it has a looser subset of standards. Not giving it
More
out to
vague.
people. Yeah, not vague. I didn't say vague. I just said
Yeah.
looser. Not that you give it out to everybody.
Yeah.
Full stop. But they're just looser. And the other thing that no one really mentioned is what is the purpose of it. Like it's people are talking about this to solve a problem. What is the problem?
They're trying to solve.
It is a lot of people are talking about this as if it's going to bring people out of poverty, but this is not going to do that.
No.
It should. It should.
Oh no,
I thought it was supposed to help
No.
with the cost of living or something like that.
It's
Yeah,
not.
and
It's
it's not.
basically supposed to.
Supposedly.
It's supposed to ideally the purpose.
I know.
Again, we don't know that. We do not know that.
That
This
is
is just your
finished,
theory. The studies are
5%
happening.
niggas, 5%.
The results aren't out yet. But the purpose of this is to help keep people afloat. Not to say people that have already sunk, but to keep them afloat. If you are at that danger of falling below the poverty line, or at risk of homeless, or something like that, that's what this is for. This is what
if that's what it is for, then it shouldn't be for everybody.
Yes,
I get, like I said, but I said from I get
Then
there.
there's
real quick.
but then
Come on,
there's
guys,
your
come on,
target
okay,
rate.
Stop.
I want to say one thing real
Hold
quick. I feel like we should stop it right here and continue this some other time
Yeah.
because we don't have
Yeah.
the battery life for this.
No, continue.
No, no,
I
no,
just-
no,
I
no,
just-
no.
This will pause.
I just
already
wanted
scripted
to. I just again want to make myself.
I don't
I
want
just-
us to miss anything. I just want to carry on.
I just wanted to say. I just want to reiterate and make myself clear. Like I just said before, it is an idea that you should strive for, but in practicality, it is just a social system with a looser subset of standards or qualifications.
All right, well,
Not none. Looser.
my ended standpoint on it, it's something that sounds good on paper, but when it plays out, it
Very
doesn't
hard
seem
to
like
do.
it's gonna work. But in small secluded groups, it would work.
For a company, but he worked as a messenger from that company, come to this company.
A courier?
Well, he's not exactly a courier, like a mass courier. He's only for a specific company.
Oh,
Because they deal with comps for
Yeah.
different
Gotcha,
products.
gotcha.
And he delivers the comps and ships them back.
Uh-huh.
And as I was talking to him, he told me he's homeless.
Yeah.
I'm just like, it baffled my mind because I've never heard of a homeless person that works before.
Oh,
So
Oh,
there-
I know.
So there-
there's-
I didn't know at
Well,
the time.
go
That's
to
what I'm
America.
This was a
this person will
this
remain
was,
nameless, but we know
But
someone that
this was a
that,
few years ago, guys. But as I was saying, it was mind boggling at that time. I was like, you work with your homeless? But then I started thinking about it, you're working, but you don't really have the money and whatever the case might be. There are other things involved, and it made sense to me. So there are people that work, but they are homeless.
Yeah.
That this if it was 1,000, it would help them.
Well, yes, but again, that means they fall within a target
Okay,
range.
go back to the other one. How about you
Precious, wrap this up, take us out.
Hit the button, hit the button.
No,
Yeah.
Court adjourned.
Push the
Yeah, you gotta end. Precious, take us
Button.
out. Take us out.
Oh, push the button!
button.